My whole life, I always knew I was special. Even with no remainders, I could always move a decimal. Money on my mind while the girls that made un beso. Hustlers in my blood and it's running through my vessels. Just trying to clear the threshold, just trying to make a way. In my race against time, I could see an early grave. School to prison pipeline, 12 years a slave. Suspension and detention is conditioned for a cage.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is did Dillian Whyte's antics before the fight hurt his performance? Now, you know he didn't show up to the press conference. His lawyer had a lot of back and forth with Frank Warren about money, escrow accounts, and when he did show up, this happened when he saw Mauricio Sulaiman.
Property, property, and it's cost me millions to be here. Millions. No, shut up, Michael. You got the million. You are here, and you're fighting with the long distance. Yeah. But what did it take for me to get here? I almost take my mind. Mauricio, you can. Pandemic.
Yo, pandemic. You need to be off the pitch.
No. I fight for the WBC title twice in the pandemic. 2 times in the pandemic. And I still paid my sanction. But it delayed. But I fight for the WBC title. It should never be delayed. I should have fought Deontay Wilder a long time ago. A long time ago. I should have fought Deontay Wilder. Why didn't you guys make me fight Deontay Wilder?
A long time ago.
No, because
Mate,
this is the
move
fact.
off the pitch for us.
Don't tell me it's
Yeah.
pandemic.
Thank you.
No,
I didn't say pandemic.
But it's okay. Listen, I respect you. I respect your father and I respect WBC. That's why I'm here fighting with WBC. But a lot of things happen, a lot of things need to be straight. The guys is here, so
You're my friend, and I wish you the best of luck.
yes,
And you have great success.
thank you.
Reach your age.
Thank you. I'm ready to come to Mexico. I've been coming to Mexico champion. I was going to go to Mexico to do a champion. Okay. I only try to be maximum point.
That was the exchange before the fight, like at the conference before the fight. That's what he's talking to Mauricio Sulaiman about. And as you can see, Mauricio Sulaiman's like, focus on the fight. But this is what this is stuff Dillian's talking about. I'm turning over to you, Trill Dollar Bill. Like, what's your reaction to that? And do you believe that behavior and that chip on his shoulder hurt his performance in the fight?
I'm just gonna say poor Dillian. We already know how the WBC felt about you. And you take this and you took this moment to let them know how you feel, but at the end you still was like, I'm still here though. You did me wrong, but I'm still here, baby. I'm still here trying to work it out with you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, poor Dillian, man. I seen that, and I say he lost already. He lost already. He worried about everything else but the fight at hand, So yeah.
All right, Conspiracy G.
Man, that footage just proved to me Dillian Whyte was a WBC side piece. Think you more than what you actually is. It's like, yo, stop it, baby. Just,
Baby, I knew about it.
Yo, Mauricio is such a player too. He said, "Hey, and we go to Mexico and we can talk about it, baby." I take you on a vacation.
Oh man! But, I mean, I'll say that I do feel bad for Dillian because the way he's thinking about it, like first and foremost, I don't think any of that played a factor in his performance. Let's just cut that out. But I do feel bad that he feels robbed, right? He feels like the WBC has been pushing him around to different directions as opposed to getting a fight with Deontay Wilder, right? So I can see why he has that chip on his shoulder. And this is probably the first time in a long time seeing Mauricio Sulaiman face to face. So he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna let him know how I feel." Right. So I could give him that, but man, none of that played a I'm gonna be honest with you. This was the most respectful Dillian Whyte I've seen in a fight build-up. Like, he didn't really call Tyson Fury out his name. He didn't say anything crazy. He for the most part, he was a humble guy. Like, you know, he wasn't showing up to stuff. He was staying silent on social media. But I remember during that fight when I don't know what happened with Tyson Fury, but in the ring, Tyson Fury was like in there, like we first arrived from their little jog into the ring. And then I remember he turned around. Yo, his face transformed. Like, he was locked in. Like, I'm gonna put some hurting on Dillian Whyte, you know? And I think Tyson Fury all along knew, like, they were cool. You could tell they were boys. Like, or not necessarily boys, but they weren't enemies. You know what I'm saying? But Tyson Fury just knew how to turn it on. I'm gonna have to put a hurting on this kid. And then that's why at the end he felt bad, so he kissed him. Said, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, man.
Hey, Tyson's getting a little.
Yeah, man. First Tyson was licking blood, licking blood. Now he kissing foreheads. You know what I mean? I'm just like, yo, this is getting outrageous, man. But
and
I
asking guys about their stuff.
I'm about to record.
Tyson Fury was just forcing it the other night.
But I just don't think anything that Dillian Whyte did or didn't do in the build-up of that fight affected his performance. Like, this Dillian, that's just Dillian who he is, man, as a fighter. It's just horrible, man. But I will say he has regressed a lot, because I don't remember his footwork being that sloppy. And I knew he used to always throw the hooks and spin around a lot, like when he's like, he'll punch himself out of balance. But at least it seems like the punch direction could land on someone. There were punches he was throwing. Tyson Fury was nowhere near him. And I'm like, yo, what is going on here, bro? You know what I mean? So I don't think in the back of my mind he was like, oh, I'm losing millions of dollars, so I'm just going to throw haymakers everywhere. It's just like, nah, just who he is, man. So it's just unfortunate, man. That's definitely a poor Dillian moment. You're losing M's, and you got violated that bad in front of all your fans. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure you probably lost a couple thousand fans last night. Just saying.
And I wonder, is he still going to get that invite to Mexico? That's what I want to know.
If you won, we would have gone to Mexico.
Yeah, right. Shoot.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. I disagree with you, G. I think that it did hurt his performance. And the reason why is because I've stated this on this show several times. There's no amount of pressure greater than the pressure you put on yourself. Mm-hmm. And if you look at it from the start, he was all about what he wasn't getting, what they weren't doing, what he felt was disrespectful, and less focus on how to block an uppercut, how to avoid being caught with an uppercut. He spent so much time, talking about how he was done wrong. It never seemed like he really believed he could win the fight. And so now if I look back and think of everything he said, I feel like, yo, this dude was just trying to cash out.
I do agree with you on that. Yeah.
Because you were spending so much time trying to get more money, not showing up, complaining, talking about, oh, no one can see you, but you're training.
Not even that. To Mauricio, I should have been fighting Wilder. I'm like, fam, but you fighting Fury now. Shut up.
But that brings me to my next point that I was going to make. You're talking as if you knew you were going to beat Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, although I agree, Wilder avoided Dillian. I believe personally Wilder avoided Dillian.
No, Wilder did. He admitted it.
Yeah, he said it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he did it because he was afraid of him or he didn't think he can beat him. Mm-hmm. He probably thought, why fight him when I can fight these guys and make certain amounts of money? Or he probably just thought, like, I'm not going to give this dude a shot because he said some disrespectful stuff. Like, who knows? But I'm with it. He should have got his shot against Wilder. Cool. But he's talking like he would have beaten Wilder and then he would have been the WBC champion and then he would have been the A side. in negotiations or whatever. And it's like, yo, your performance in that ring suggests you are nothing more than a European level fighter.
Or European level side piece. Just
Like 100. Dillian didn't even perform like Otto Wallin. Otto Wallin actually took rounds from Fury, actually had us at the edge of our seats like, yo, are they about to stop this cuss? Is he about to ruin the trilogy? Dillian, there was never a moment in that fight where I thought, oh man, Dillian might win. Never. No drama. Like Fury controlled this dude. G said he gave Dillian the first round. I gave Dillian no rounds. I don't think Dillian was ever in control of that fight. He never looked in control. He never looked like he had a real plan. Like, it was just bad. And for me, I'm watching this like, this is a man fighting not just Fury, but himself and everything he put in his mind. You know what he told himself? I got to win this and I got to make up for the 1,000 days. They're disrespecting me with the money. At some point, you put so much weight on your shoulders, you just going to fold. Trust me, I know, like I told you, like when I used to take exams and I used to think to myself, I got to prove everyone wrong. I got to silence all the doubters. People think I don't belong here. People think I only got here because of this. Blah, 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 blah. When I'm doing all that while I'm reading this, I'm not comprehending everything I'm supposed to. I'm not focused on the material like I'm supposed to. And then I get a bad grade, and then I start to think, man, everyone was right about me. Nah, you know what I think? I'm here. I got the opportunity. I'm just going to study as hard as I can and go in there and give it my all, and whatever happens, I'm going to live with it. That's what he should have been doing. He should have been at the press conference like, look, I'm here. It took a long time. I don't think it's right. I'm just going to make the most of my opportunity. If he would have done that and did this same performance, it would be less embarrassing. You done did all that stuff. You done called Andy Ruiz a fat boy. And so Joshua, he lost to a fat boy when Joshua lost to Andy Ruiz. What do Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua have in common that Dillian Whyte doesn't? They were heavyweight champion of the world. You know, sat there and talk about Deontay Wilder. You called him a crackhead and said stuff about his kids and all types of stuff. What does Deontay Wilder have on his resume that you don't? He was a heavyweight champion, the WBC heavyweight champion at that. So that's why people don't feel so sorry for Dillian, because he always talked like he was one of the big boys. He always took shots at the big boys. I'm telling you right now, that guy I saw in the ring with Tyson Fury, Andy Ruiz will beat the brakes off him.
Yo, facts. That's sad too. It's like, golly, I think anybody would beat this dude right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I'm just saying, my man, you really talked yourself, and you know, shame on me too, because I was like just looking at what you were doing to certain level fighters like Lucas Brown, Derek Chisora. You beat Joseph Parker, and I'm thinking, man, he would get Deontay Wilder. I'm thinking myself, he would get a lot of these guys. Now I realize I was guilty of what I accused other people of. I gave you victories you never earned.
And remember that Joseph Parker fight. Joseph Parker was fighting scary
until the later rounds, and he almost stopped.
I'm like, man, like Joseph Parker should have won. You know what I mean? But he was scared for some reason.
Joseph Parker gonna look back on his career like, man, if I would have just started throwing punches earlier, I would have been.
He gonna ask for that fight.
Yeah,
he had the most potential, just lost, bro.
Yeah, but to just put this in perspective, when on the eve or 2 days before the biggest fight of your career, you see the person, one of the people involved in the event, and all you keep talking about is things that happened years ago and things you haven't gotten over it. So it's hard for you to move forward. If you keep living in the past, if you keep letting things, it's that's why Mauricio's like, really? We're having this discussion right now? You about to fight for everything. Why are we still having this discussion? And if you can't get over it, you can't move forward. I'm gonna close with this. If every time you meet, if you're dating someone, and every time you're on a date with your new person, and you keep talking about how your ex did you wrong, or how people you dated did you wrong, that person's going to be like, yo, I got to leave this person because this person clearly has demons they haven't gotten over yet. And I think that's going to impact how you interact in your next relationship. And to me, Dillian Whyte fought like a man who was afraid to make a mistake that would cost him everything because he was at the highest point of his career, because he was so fixated on, I'll never get this shot again. I got to do it like this, so I can't take the risk. And if he was just thinking like the Dillian Whyte's thinking, I'm going to go in there and give it all I got, he would have taken more risk. He would have threw the hooks he normally throws. He would have did all that. He was so focused on the moment and all that stuff. And that's why I think it impacted his fight. I think he's thinking, oh, man, I waited 1,000 days for this. Yo, they never want to give me this shot. I'm not making the money I'm supposed to make. If I don't win this fight, if I make a mistake, then I'll never get here again. I think he's thinking about all this stuff instead of thinking, I'm going to put my fist through Tyson Fury's face. Just like when he saw Mauricio Sulaiman. And I think that's why he had a very, very poor performance.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros.